Good morning, Creative Mavericks, and here we are on live stream one or video one of the Creative Mavericks program. If you're watching the recording, a very good morning, afternoon, evening to you, whatever time of day it is. And I'm just waiting for people to come live. Good morning, let me know who you are. Lovely for you to join me this morning. Hiya, Carol. So yeah, I'm a little bit worn out at the moment because I keep waking up in the middle of the night, but apart from that, we're all good. Hello, Emma. Good morning. So yeah, we always get a little bit of time before. Howdy, partner. A little bit of time before everyone gets on. So this is just wittering time for me, really. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my goodness, look at my lovely people. And honestly, yesterday I did have a little bit of a weep reading all the introductions. It was just beautiful. And I just think this is just going to be most Scott's, hey, honorary sister. So yeah, it's amazing. And also that Miralee chose that We Are Family song, which, as Emma, my real sister, will tell you, we have sung to about and danced to and fooled around to about a bazillion times. In our lives, at various weddings and parties and stuff, so quite synchronicitous. So Miralee, I was just talking about you. So yeah, We Are Family was really the song that me and my sisters had when we were younger, and weddings, parties, it's like, let's play Sister Sledge, you know, and then we go, we are family, you can imagine. So thank you for sharing that. That was absolutely perfect. So Scott, you're an honorary sister, and I actually do feel, you know, like that we are a little family. We're a tribe. Morning, Carol. We're a troop. We're a, you know, it really feels like there's a special energy in this group, which is just great. So I hope you can all feel it as well. It's our theme tune. It really is. So yeah, it's Emma is my actual real biological sister, and we've worked together on and off before. And it's really brilliant that you chose that song, Miralee, honestly. Really funny. This is how the universe works, everybody. So I had a massive download in the shower this morning. That sounds awful, actually, doesn't it? Anyway, I had an idea in the shower that was given to me. So Belinda and I are seeing if we can cook up a creativity and coaching kind of inspirational day for everybody to get together in her studio in Stoke-on-Trent. So literally, I've just messaged, I could barely get dry before I messaged her this morning, and we're going to have a look at dates, and we're going to see what we can do so that, I know, I'm a girl, I don't do that in the shower. So yeah, so I had an idea, and that's we're just gonna have a look at dates and practicalities and see what we can do. So between now and Christmas, there might be a day, probably a Saturday, maybe not. I haven't even talked to Belinda properly about it. I just messaged her, where we go to Bee's studio, which is where Scott hangs out as well, and we do some intention setting, we do some stuff guided by me, and then we do some art creativity on the back of our intention setting. So creative intention setting. Exciting, I know, so excited. I could barely get dry before I came and sent her a message because I've had this idea, we've got to sort this out. So so that'll be amazing. So we have no idea when it is or what the plans are, because it's literally just been sorted out. So we'll get to that later when B and I have had a chat. We've got our diaries out, we've sorted everything out. So get prepared to come to Stoke-on-Trent and do a morning session with me, probably. Beautiful guided stuff, really good fun, intention setting, getting to know each other, doing something or other coaching-ish around this program, and then some art creativity on the back of it. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I love it already, and we don't even know what it is. So it will be so cool, Scott. So you better get some babysitters in, you guys. Anyway, so yeah, so in this group we have me and my biological sister Emma Sutton, and we have Scott and Belinda, who are married to each other. So, you know, it actually is a bit like a family anyway. So they're obviously not everybody's going to be able to make it this morning on the live stream. So a live stream today now, and then one tomorrow, Wednesday at midday. So I thought I'd change the times in case you had specific appointments and all that kind of stuff. And then what we'll do Thursday and Friday is really have a think about what structure would suit you moving forward. So I know that for Emma and probably B and Scott and a couple of other of you, I know, it's half term next week, so we are going to bear that in mind. So don't panic if you're on half term. Don't worry that you're going to miss a load of stuff, because this program has to work around your life. It has to work around your schedule. It has to work around your family. There is no point me, you know, being too prescriptive about what happens when, because that's just not how it works. That's certainly not how the magical part of it works, because as I shared last week, nowhere in my marketing and business plan was it to run a group program until last week. And now here we are, it's full, I've made money, and you're all here and it's beautiful. Nowhere in my plan was it to have a workshop, but this morning we've created one. So this is how the magic works when you're on the path and open to it, and you're connected to other people that can help you. It's just the most beautiful thing. So I know, Carol, you were talking in your intro about being excited about how logic and magic works. Well, this is an example this morning of how it works. So very, very exciting. So really in this program, almost anything could happen. You or I could have downloads at any moment about what needs to be done and what's next and who your people are and what the universe needs you to do. And the best thing to do is to have time and space to create it. So hi Miro, lovely to see you. So my first tip, while we're just waiting for other people, is to do some clearing out. So in your, you know, what are you not doing that would make a big difference? Some of you have said you've got a bit of clutter going on, whether that's paperwork, whether that's your accounts, whether that's a room full of bits and bobs. In this 8 weeks, sort that out. You know, sort it out in the next 3 weeks if you can. Like, the more clutter you can get rid of, the more space you can create, whether that's physical space, mental space, organization. If you need help with bookkeeping and accounts, Carol is a bookkeeper. So I'll be talking to her soon, because I've had all this money flooding in and I need somebody to sort it out for me. So yeah, so if you need to get organized, you know, be prepared for vast amounts of money to come in. It may or may not, but if you're prepared for it, it's more likely to. Clear out the clutter. If you've got stuff, I'm not going to mention any names, but that's waiting in an eBay box to be sold, and you really haven't got time and you don't feel it's right, just give it away. Take it to charity shop, put it on free cycle, you know, give. Just get it out of your energy field. So that's one of the best things you can do. If you don't really know what to do in your business and you're not clear who your clients are and you're just letting that settle, get rid of stuff that you don't want anymore. You know, we just had the full moon, the letting go process. So let go of anything that doesn't serve, as she says, your highest level of brilliance, whether that's people, beliefs, clutter, stuff, old clients, the way you used to do stuff, the way you feel like you have to work really hard, or whatever it is. It's kind of, we want to look at all these patterns and all these behaviors and really shift them. Good morning, everybody. So what I'm going to do this morning, I'm just literally going to walk through the ebook, through the content, because this is how I've created what I've created. And it's really interesting. I put this ebook in. I know that Bee's seen this before, because she was in the group that I wrote it for before, my alignment adventure, and which I did last year, and I started at the beginning of September, and with Bee and Deborah was in it, who isn't in this particular group. And this is the ebook that I wrote to go with it. And 2 weeks after that, I did that full moon ceremony down at the beach, where I let go of my identity as being someone in recovery and stepped into my identity as an amazing coach. And look what's happened. This literally was written 6 weeks ago, this ebook. So when I was looking at it to put it in the group, I was like, that's how fresh this was. So this isn't new stuff, because I've been doing this, but this is kind of a new, it was newly put together for that. And I've got to the exponential bit of my curve now. So yeah, so we're just going to guide you through. So if you've printed it out, given loads away, it does feel absolutely incredible. Well, I gave my whole life away, and actually for a while it felt really awful, and now it's just the most freeing thing ever, but hey ho. So yeah, so get rid of stuff, really own what, so yeah, so in the questions I asked you, what are you not doing? If there's things that you can start doing this week, which generally there is, just start doing it. Just start doing it. Even though it might not be what you want to do, the more you can do stuff that scares you, the more that you can get into guided action, the more that you can just break through that, the first level, the easier it'll be. And if it's about clearing stuff, organising stuff, getting rid of stuff, doing your accounts, all that kind of organisation, it makes such a massive difference. Because what we want to do between now and the middle of December is create a firm foundation. so that January to Easter is going to be unbelievably brilliant. That is my feeling. I really feel it from what's happened in the group, and we've only been here 24 hours. It's really great. Good morning. That's fine. Lovely. Yeah, that's the idea of the group. So what I'm going to do is explain a little bit about how I see the structure working. Like in my head, I've got all this sort of structure mapped out. So I want to explain what's going on in my head via my voice and via the ebook, because this really, really works to sort things out, and it gives you the flexibility in between. Some of you have followed me for a while and you will know some of this stuff, but you don't actually do it. So this program is about doing it. It's not about doing what I tell you. Like, I'm not here to prescribe what to do, but I'm just saying I've done this stuff and look at what's happened, right? So you can choose to do it this way or not. Photographic evidence. Oh my goodness. Lady Break sold a cartoon. Wowee, Emma, brilliant. Good. Okay, so stop distracting me. I've got work to do. Right, so I'm just going to guide you through the ebook, and then we'll have Q&A, anything you want to say, comments, questions, everything like that at the end, because then I don't get distracted and we can stick to vaguely what was on the plan. So the ebook is really just to give you some of the structures that I use to create my life using logic and magic. If you've been in my group for a while, you'll probably have heard some of this stuff before, but what I want you to do while you're listening to this today, morning Denise, while you're listening to this today, is to own this for yourself. So it's not me teaching you what I do, except it is. It's me passing the baton on to you. There you go. Pass the baton. Put your hand out and grab the baton. Right, here we go. Here's the baton. It's a pink pen. How perfect. Grab the baton and take it. This is like a magic wand as well, it looks like. So this is your baton. This is your baton of... a baton of brilliance. That's what it is. Oh my God. I love words so much. So we are now stepping into our highest level of brilliance, ladies and gent. And this is your baton. So grab the baton from me and take on board, I know, all those years of comedy school. Pick what works for you and really own this. You can do this. You can use these principles. They're not hard. They're not time consuming. They work really well for a firm foundation. So in the ebook, I've said this is your plan. So I don't want you to feel that this is prescriptive. I want you to do what feels right. But I also want you to know that when you're setting up new intentions and habits, and you'll know this, you're all grown-ups, they feel weird to start with. When you start an exercise plan, it feels weird. When you start a new relationship, it feels weird. When you start a new job, it feels weird. When you've started your business, it feels weird because it's just not what you're used to. So be open to the fact that this is going to feel weird to start with. And when you get into it and when it becomes normal and when you start really seeing magical results from it, and actually, to be honest, some of you have had magical results since you just signed up for the program before we even started. The more you celebrate those and the more that you really tap into your energy, the more you give space in your diary, in your home, in your head, in your life for magic to come in, the better the results will be. That is my experience. So I talk about living a free flow life. You know, over the summer I had lots of time off. Generally I work in the morning, get to work, do my live streams and chat to you guys online and make phone calls to beautiful people. That's my work. And then I have the afternoon to go to the beach, go for a walk, swim, meet my mum if she was here on holiday, meet up with friends, you know, whatever it's like. And I still made nice money over the summer. Because when I sell stuff now, it's £300-500. So I don't need a lot of sales to actually just keep my lifestyle going, which is beautiful, which is specifically a purposeful thing. Because I could be selling lots of £20 ebooks, but that you need a lot of customers for that. And I would rather work more in depth with people at a higher level. And I know that's true for most of you watching as well. So I know what they say in how to do a video is to talk to one person. So I know that you're watching this on your own, but I also know that there's a whole tribe of you because I can see the comments. So sometimes I'll be saying you, as in I want you as an individual to listen. And sometimes I'm kind of just making sure that you know you're part of a tribe, because that to me makes sense. Cool. Okay. So this is your plan. This is your journey. This is your, you know, you've invested money, you will be investing time, you will be investing energy in this, and what I want you to do is get out of it what you need to get out of it. And I know from, because I've spoken to all of you, and some of you I know incredibly well, some of you I know quite well, some of you we've only met in the last 2 or 3 weeks through my group really and had one call. But I kind of know all of you to some extent, and this is just going to be the most beautiful group to really work together on this. So I put a post in yesterday saying, you know, don't be overwhelmed by it. Day one, there's all the intros going on. There's a lot of content coming in. It won't be like that every day. Don't feel you have to keep up with everything. The only thing you need to look for when you come to the group, if you've been away for a couple of days, is look for things. So you can go to the search bar and look for my name and just look for the stuff that I've posted. So you don't have to scroll through everything. You can search at the top. You can look for files. So I'll put a post in if there's a file. I'll probably tag everyone in if I put something new in, just so you don't miss anything. So I don't want you to feel like this is another thing to do. This group should be the structure upon which you build your amazing life and business. Ooh, I like that. And what is in the ebook is the way to build your structure. It's like, here's how the foundational pieces, you put a bit of this and a shovelful of that and you put it in your mixer and you lay it down, and that's how you build your amazing life and business. And so it's like, Emma will love this. This is like the DIY SOS team, right? You're all the team. We need the foundation. I'm like Nick Knowles, right? The big show off at the front, telling everyone what to do and lending a hand. So yeah, so this is the life SOS. So here we go. This is your plan to pick what you like. Pick some logic, pick some magic. You cannot create an amazing life using just the magical pieces without the work. You can't create a magical life by working really hard and ignoring your intuition, your spirit, your whatever. In this group, you can use whatever words you like. You can use the word universe. You can use the word magic. You can use the word intuition. You can talk about your feelings. You can talk about crying. You can talk about angels. You can talk about God. You can talk about spirit. You can talk about any single part of magic, spirit, creativity, anything that you need to. There are no boundaries in this group as far as whatever you believe, and I want you to be able to talk about it, describe it, ask for help with it in this group. So I just want to get that out there straight away. So there we go. So you're welcome. So this is your plan. So in the ebook, there's a little graphic that I drew last year. Be patient and gentle with yourself. We are so impatient. We are trained. And I've had to unlearn a lot of my habits. We are trained at school and at work to work really hard, to work fast. I was a nurse for years. I had to work instantly, and I still love that rapid action. That's why last week, just selling the course in 10 days, going, bang, it's out. Do you want it or yes or no? Getting people in, getting the sales done, getting it done in 10 days was absolutely brilliant for me, because I go, my God, that was exhausting. And now it's done. And now I just run my group. And now I look for my higher end clients, and my money's here and my group's here, and it's all beautiful. So you can use that kind of impatient, that rapid action stuff. But unlearning that is really important, because you have to leave space and time for the magic to show up. So I still have my 25 grand check there. So it's not that didn't happen. It's just, it's not ready yet. So that's still my intention. That's my intention for this lunar cycle. It was my intention for last lunar cycle. Am I upset that I only made 8,500 and not 25,000? Absolutely not. Am I upset that I was given a group to run instead of my VIPs for that particular month? No, I'm not. Okay, so intentions are really great, and sometimes the universe might give you a slightly different plan that's something better than what you had in the first place. That's why we need space for magic, because if we have our intentions clear, as long as we're moving in the right direction, these aren't diversions, these are part of the path. Brilliant, exactly. So this is kind of what I'm saying there, Denise. It's like, that was my full-on week, and that's pretty unusual for me. And actually, having had burnout, I can't work like that anyway all the time. But that was really exciting. So it fulfilled that slightly adrenalinized, addictive part of me. And the sales became quite addictive, which is exciting to be addicted to sales in a way. And then going, but now I have to have a much calmer week, because that will wear me out. So, okay. So, indeed. So, I'm going to read through a little bit of the ebook. If you've got it there, just go through it with me. And like I say, I'm passing on the baton of brilliance to you this morning. So own this for you. Go, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for me and how I live my life? If you use some of these principles, which I know you might do, how do you expand them? How do you use them more regularly? How do you really you know, how do you own that magical spiritual part of you? And really make it a part of your life and business. So this is not just business we're talking about. This program is not just about making money and finding clients, but that's what most of you are looking at. It's about how do you do that within a life you love? How do you also have great family time or call in a partner? How do you also embrace your creativity? How do you also have time to sing and dance and act and do all those other things? How do you also have the money and the freedom to go to workshops or to invest in a high-level mentor like myself or somebody else? You know, it's not just about business and money. So it's entirely up to you which activities you do, but you need the logic and you need the magic. So in the ebook, I've given you a bit of a 30-day schedule. So you can do this however feels right for you. I have started this program specifically on a Monday morning, because a Monday is quite a nice day to start something fresh. But also I'm doing mine with the lunar cycle. So this program has 2 lunar cycles before Christmas. Then we have a lunar cycle off. Then we start in January at the lunar cycle again with the full moon. And then we have 3 lunar cycles up until Easter. You might rather start things on a Monday morning. You might rather go, okay, at the end of October, and I've been researching this again because I forget these things. At the end of October, beginning of November, we have Halloween, which is what we celebrate in all the shops. And but it's also the end of, it's Samhain, which is one of the spiritual Celtic kind of Wiccan end of the year. So end of October, beginning of November is actually a new year in the Wiccan calendar. Ooh, so you might want to have a couple of weeks of just getting really clear what you want, especially if it's half term, and then having 1st of November to the middle of December as a 6-week chunk. So like I'm saying, there isn't any kind of, I can't guide you into what the right thing to do is, but you'll feel it. If you're not clear what your intentions are right now, maybe that's perfect. Maybe it's kind of, let's just have 2 weeks of feeling into it. We'll celebrate Samhain at the end of October, and November till the middle of December, we'll have a 6-week kind of chunk for really getting stuff into place. And being open to any downloads and any magic and any guidance we have in the meantime. So in the ebook, I've put a really simple graphic of the Wheel of Life, and Emma certainly will recognise this. I've been using this for years and years and years and years and years as a coach and as a person for myself. When I had really bad depression for the first time about 15 years ago after my dad died, I used this Wheel of Life. I was living with my brother and I was getting better and I was completely dependent on other people, and I used this Wheel of Life to rebuild my life, to go back to work, to sell my property that I had in Bath, move to Cheltenham. You know, this Wheel of Life changed my life literally, because every week, this is when my weekly review started, every week I'd sit down with my Wheel of Life and I'd go, what can I do this week to move my life forward? And I knew that I had to get from being dependent and living at my brother's to an independent life again. And it took a year. But in a year, I sold a house, bought a property, went back to work, recreated myself. So it's incredible what you can do in a year. But you can start with baby steps. And one of my mentors, Nick Williams, says, you know, don't confuse baby steps with thinking small. And this is why I talk about incremental steps lead to exponential results, because the incremental bit seems like you're not doing anything. But as long as you're moving forward and you're moving towards your vision, or even if you feel you need a day off and you don't really want to create anything or do anything that day, if it feels right, that's actually the right thing for you to do. So short-term, fast-paced, yeah. So so it's exciting for a while because we all need that excitement, and then it's really good to have the pacing. So we've got the Wheel of Life there. So what I want you to do, some point this week, doesn't have to be done today, there is no rush with any of this, at some point this week, is to get the Wheel of Life out and really evaluate your life. How is it right now? And what I want you to do as well is really own what you really want. So how much money would you love to make? It doesn't mean being a millionaire if that doesn't mean anything to you. It could be, do you know, I'm making £1,000 a month into my business and I'd really like to make £5,000 a month for now. So these intentions or goals that you set can always change. Like if I looked at the Wheel of Life from 14 years ago when I was at my brother's just rebuilding my life to how my intentions are now, they are poles apart, but I've expanded into that. So what I want you to do is look at how are you with all these areas right now. If you don't know how to use the Wheel of Life, I can put something more in later, but Basically, it's about looking at each area of your life and evaluating how happy are you with that area right now. It's not about a comparison. It's not about what other people are doing. It's like, how do you feel about your income? How do you feel about your social life? How do you feel about your family life? How do you feel about the amount of fun, challenge and excitement you have? How do you feel about your home, where you live, the town you live in? The property you live in, the decor in the property you live in. Like, it's from macro to micro, as they say. How do you feel about your work, your business? What are you doing in your business? How do you feel about your health? How do you feel about your development and learning? So it's really an individual thing. There's no right or wrong. So they're very intuitive answers. So what you do is, like, right at the middle is it's absolutely dire, and at the edges it couldn't be any better. And then what you'll find is that some areas score higher than others, and some of them are, you know, maybe 3s and 4s down at the bottom because you haven't paid a lot of attention to that area of your life recently. And then what I want you to do is really look at, well, what are your priorities between now and the middle of December? So in this part of the programme, what do you want to focus on? So with most of you, it's going to be something around business and money. But what I'd say is, okay, so let's look at another area at the same time. Do you want to look at your social life, your health, your environment, something else as well as your business and money to give you that balance? And it's up to you to decide which bit you want to look at. So in the ebook, I've said 30 days. So what you can do is you can do a 30-day intention. So to the next full moon, you can leave it if you don't want to set any intentions right now because you're not very clear what you want, because I can guide you through that. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. And you could leave it till, like, say, the 1st of November and then set them then. So really there's no rush to do any of this. There's no rush to do the Wheel of Life and to do the intentions. But I would do the Wheel of Life this week so it doesn't get left behind. Because what we're going to talk about and put in place is a weekly review, which is really important. So if you've done a bit of evaluation, you've started taking some action this week, when it comes to your weekly review, whatever day you decide to do that, Friday, Sunday, Monday morning, whatever, you will have something to review. So it's actually using this stuff as a tool while you're in action, which is important. So when you're setting intentions, you want to make them really clear. So I'm sure you've heard of SMART goals, which is a very boring and dull way of doing it, but it's just a kind of, you know, it's a bit of a guideline. So you need to be specific. So if you're looking at an income intention, this is why in the manifestation I'm so into people declaring the amount of money they want. Because one of the reasons we don't make money, and I speak from experience in this, is that, you know, you have to be confident talking about money. You have to own it. You have to own the amount of money. You have to be able to type it and say it and write it on your intentions, because you can't bring it in. You can't attract it if you're not owning it. And if you're selling your products, your paintings, your services, your work, your cartoons, your art, your healing, your workshop to people, you have to be able to put a price on it, and you have to be able to talk about money. So whether it's a financial intention, whether it's how you want to feel in your body, whether it's a mentor you want to invest with, whether it's, you know, somewhere you want to move to, as far as your home and your environment, like, be really specific what you want to do in the next period of time. So this period that we're talking about is to the middle of December, which is when this program goes on recess, as the Americans say, for Christmas. So you can start to set intentions now, like I say, with the moon, or you can leave it until the end of October if that feels right and you want to feel your way into it. But you need to have an intention, because what we're going to be doing with the accountability that somebody mentioned earlier, the group accountability and the weekly review, is you will be reviewing your intentions every week and seeing whether you're getting closer to them, and noticing the results, and noticing the synchronicities, and noticing the actual money, noticing the clients coming in, noticing how clear your, you know, study is, noticing whatever it is, the practical and the magical side of it. So you need to have intentions, that's what I'm saying. But you can choose to set them now, or you can choose to set them at the end of October, whatever feels right for you. Yeah, brilliant. I walk around the headlands and people smile at me, and then I realise I'm kind of talking under my breath. They probably, yeah, the mental woman of Southbourne, they probably call me. But yeah, it's all really beautiful. So gratitude is great, and saying what you're bringing in is great as well. So see and feel the outcome in as much detail. So own it, absolutely. You know, you've probably heard this before as well, but it works really well. So I've got my intentions written here, and I realise that this is very beautiful for me. A colour-loving, synesthetic, neat handwriting kind of woman. So each paragraph is a different topic. So I've got about my clients, I've got about my team, I've got about my tribe, I've got about my partner, I've got about my body, I've got about my my singing, my creativity, my acting, my drawing, and I've got about my travel. So that's every day. That's kind of my map. That's my guide to what am I creating, what am I bringing in, and then seeing, well, my team's showing up, my tribe is growing, my income is growing. You know, and seeing the evidence of it happening, which is amazing. And what we tend to do, and obviously this is something you've heard before, but I'm going to say it again, is we go, well, I want to have this amount of money, but I don't know how to do it, and I don't know where this is, and I don't know what my logo is, and I don't know what my business card is, and I don't know what this is, and I don't know. It's honestly all that crazy talk. It's like, just own what you want. Own what you want and feel it. And then the results and the how will show up. So a lot of this in manifestation, setting intentions, say don't worry about the how. That doesn't mean there isn't a how. Like, there has to be a how to make it happen. But what it means is your job initially is to own what you want, and to declare it, and to write it down, and to draw a check as if it's real, or print one off the secret website, to journal on it, to say it out loud, to record it as an audio as if it's real. What I do with my accountability buddy Laura is we have a little Zoom in the morning, and I read my intentions out, but I really get into the detail of it because I'm a verbal communicator. So I don't just read the paragraph, I talk about how it's going to be when I'm in my studio with, I can see my studio when I'm in my studio with my team creating these events, and we're setting up my YouTube channel, and you know, all I do is create the content, and then my team get it out onto my blog and my website and all over the place, and we attract hundreds of people every week to my stuff, and I'm selling programs via my automated systems, and all I have to do is stand in my genius and share my stuff. And you know, this is what we get into in the detail. I can't write all that stuff. That would do my head in. But I know the essence of it, and then I speak it out loud. And the powerful way that I do it is with my accountability buddy. So, so that's the other thing I want to talk about as well, is accountability buddies. So you are accountable to everyone in this group, but what I want you to do, and I did say it in the other group, is to have an accountability buddy. Now, what I do not mean is typing in the group who wants an accountability buddy, right? What I mean is have a look over the rest of this week and maybe into next week at who's showing up. Feel who would be a really good match for you. Feel like, look for somebody with similar values. Look for somebody who's maybe on a similar path. I mean, you're all on a kind of similar path to each other. Look for somebody that's really resonating with you, like really resonating. What happened with my accountability buddy, Laura, is that she started posting in a couple of the groups we're in on Facebook, and she started talking about how she was using law of attraction in her business. And I said, I'd really love to talk to you about this, because I've been using this ever since I restarted last year. And we had a call, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. So she's slightly, I wouldn't say behind on the path, but anyway, this is slightly newer to her than it is to me. But we just really clicked, and it was great. And then we sort of hung up on the Zoom, and I was like, oh my God, it'd be great to have an accountability buddy to check in with. It'd be really good. And I just asked her. I was like, well, she could say yes or she could say no. And I just thought, God, she's never going to say yes. Like, she's got all this success. She's making these 10K months, and I'm financially not that level at all. Anyway, so I said, you know, how would you feel about having an accountability buddy? And she was like, yeah, that would be great. And then what we did this whole logic thing of, we're going to have a call every week or fortnight, depending on the schedule. And we're going to, honestly, we contact each other pretty much every day. Like, I've had a Zoom with her this morning already before this live stream. We check in. It was like, have you got time this morning? Yeah, I'm on at 10, but we've got half an hour to just talk about what we're creating, talk about blocks we've had, talk about where we're going, talk about the clarity we've had, talk about our downloads. And we go, oh my God, she's an amazing coach. She has shifted so much stuff for me, and I've shifted stuff for her. So it's not about finding a coach. It's finding about somebody that you want to be accountable to, that you want to have a really intimate relationship with, if you like, over the 6 months. Because somebody you can share stuff you wouldn't necessarily want to share in the group, or you can always private message me with stuff you don't want to share in public. But really just look for somebody over the next 10 days or so who you think really resonates, and send them a private message. Don't do it in the group. Don't go, what we don't want is a whole bunch of messages going, you free on Thursday for Skype? Oh, I can't do Thursday. What about Tuesday? Oh no, I can't do. We don't want all that in the group. The group will get overwhelming. So see how people show up, see who resonates with you. You can always pick up the phone and speak to every single person in this group to get to know them better. That's all fine. And then, you know, ask somebody if they want to be an accountability buddy. If they've already got one, don't be rejected by it. Just go, okay, that wasn't the right thing, and keep going. So I recommend it. You don't have to do it, but I highly recommend it, because Laura and I are just like, we couldn't have got where we are today without each other. We absolutely couldn't have done it. So like I say, it's not about getting a great coach. It's about getting somebody that resonates with you, that will listen to you, that will hear what's coming out of your heart and soul, and that will just hold a space for you. And I know that all of you are capable of doing this for each other, so it doesn't matter who you're picking away from that point of view. You've all got amazing open-hearted skills, but it's picking somebody you really resonate with. You might have one already from before, and if so, you know, you will be connecting with them either by message or by phone or something most days, because it's such a powerful relationship to have. Okay, so let's go back to intentions. So setting intentions. Write your intentions down. Here we go. Write your intentions down. You don't have to do it like this. You can do it scribbly. You can do it as a mind map. You can do it as whatever. Now, I like vision boards and I like collages, but I think it's really powerful to own the words, because, you know, it's 5 high divers, right? 5 high divers at £5,000. That's very, very specific. That's not, I want to make more money, dear universe. Like I say, I'm not disappointed that I only made 8,500, not 25,000, because that 25,000 is still there in my vortex, in my intention field. That's where I'm going. I just went via this 8,500 that I hadn't really expected, but it's all beautiful, because it means I get to guide you guys, which is lovely. So I had got things like, you know, my clients came to me easily. They pay in full with joy. I've booked a trip to Australia. Jane, watch out. And a bit about, you know, the aspects of them. Who are they? What are my clients? Who are my clients? You know, they're enthusiastic action takers, fully in their power. Now, when I read this out to my accountability buddy, there's way more stuff that comes out my mouth, but it comes out in flow. So just get specific about what you want, how you measure it, and kind of how you feel about it. And write it as if it's real. That's a really good trick. Now, when I was learning as a coach, I had a very, Emma will know this because she did a workshop with me a while ago, you know, it is now this date and I have X, and it's like a script. And, you know, for a while to get into it, that's fine, but it's like, right, I need to, so I know that I'm calling in my team, right? I've got Erin already who has shown up because I've had it as my intention. So I could say something slightly more scripted, like, you know, it's December the 5th, 2016, and I'm sitting in my studio with my team, and they're listening to me, and we are creating my new ebook, which is going to go out to thousands of people. The website is set up and blah, blah, blah. So slightly more technical, if that makes sense to you. I've got things about my expert team support me and my vision. They do their activities and are cool, fun, and rapid action. We work in a light, bright studio with me and my genius, and them implementing with excellence. Now, this is the umpteenth writing of this. Like, I didn't have these words all to start with, and I know that all of you are really good with words because I've read your intros. So just write it as it comes out, and you can rewrite it, you can refine it, but really own what you truly want in your life and business. Don't play small because you think, oh God, what will other people think? Or how could I run a beachside retreat in Bali when I live in Ealing in a 1-bedroom flat, right? You don't have to know, you just have to know where you're going. So be specific, write it as if it's right. You can also, other people say, like it's a letter to the universe. This is what Laura does, and she thanks the universe, like, dear universe, I'm so grateful. I'm thankful and grateful for my 5 high diver clients. I'm thankful and grateful for my team. Dear universe, I'm thankful and grateful for my partner. That doesn't feel right for me, but it might feel right for you. So do it the way that makes sense to you. How are we doing for time? Right, got 20 minutes left. So I'll take questions in a minute. So then you can do an intention ceremony, which I've got on here. Now, intention setting is generally more new moonish, which is the end of October, and letting go is full moonish. But if you just want to do an intention ceremony on a Thursday morning because you've written them and you feel like it's right. Just do whatever feels right for you. So there's a bit about an intention ceremony. So really the first bit for this week is to complete the Wheel of Life and really own what your 10 out of 10 vision would be. And don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just be clear what you want and where you're going. Then set your intentions more specifically for what you want to call in up until the middle of December. Write it in as much detail as you can. Put it in colour if you want. Do it as being thankful from the universe if you want. You know, really get into it and write it as if it's already happened. So I've done a bit about actually what happened to me at the beginning of September. This literally was me setting my intentions. Then I did the full moon ceremony, and then everything changed after that. So I really recommend using the new moon and the full moon as the letting go and the calling in stuff. But again, you don't have to do it if you're not feeling it. But I know a lot of you, and in the Mavericks group, the other Mavericks group, it was hilarious when I got back from my full moon ceremony to find all these pictures of other people, Miralee and her kids and stuff out under the moon. It was just great, and Claire as well. It was lovely. But again, if it's not practical, you don't want to do it, don't do it. But some of this stuff has made a massive difference to me. Just being under the full moon at the beach, watching the reflections. We had thunder, we had lightning over the sea. It was crazy, the highest tide imaginable. It was almost up to the prom. And I was there with Erin and Georgie, just declaring our intentions and running around in the sea like 5-year-olds. It was just the most brilliant thing ever. So, and to me, it's just kind of telling the universe, telling the moon, telling myself that this is where I now am. And with the full moon thing, the reason she talks about the highest level of brilliance is the full moon and owning your power and letting go is like, we are supposed to be as brilliant as the moon. That's the idea. So it's the whole brilliance, as in, this is what Emma teaches, you know, shine, step up and shine, show up and shine. Show up and shine as you, in your genius, in your brilliance. And that's why the full moon's so powerful to be under. Okay, so the other thing with the group, if you're having challenges, ask for help. Do not post any moaning, any complaining, any negativity, any scarcity, any lack language. I will call you out on it and I will delete it. Okay, so if it's a pattern and a habit, don't worry about it. I will just say, by the way, this is what you're manifesting, and this is what you're going to bring in by posting this stuff. What I want is, I'm struggling with this, can anybody help? Not, oh my God, the boiler's broken down, that's 500 quid I don't have, right? That's very different energy. And on the back of that, just to say, I know, it was great, wasn't it? And just to say that many of you will have had this, is that when you start to shift things and when you start to set bigger intentions and when you start to expand, stuff will come up. You'll have stuff going on with your kids. Your boiler will break down. You'll have a flat tyre that will be 100 quid that you didn't expect. You know, but expect it. This is what I'm saying. Expect stuff to come up that's not what you want, that is happening because you're expanding. And when I started working with my high-level coaches years ago, they said this happens all the time. I started my business with undiagnosed celiac, actually. I was getting iller and iller, and I broke my wrist. So I went to my masterminding sessions in London with my arm in plaster, sat it on a cushion, and did 2 days intensives with my coaches. Didn't really intend to break my wrist, but there you go. And what it is the universe is testing whether you're going to stay on the path or not. So all last week when I was promoting my program and doing my stuff, I had to go to hospital and have a colonoscopy and come back. And I'm like, I'm honouring the fact that I have to go and I have to look after my body and I have to do that. But I'm still on my path. I'm still promoting this program. So don't think of it as a sign that you're not supposed to be doing it. It's just a challenge, and challenges will come up the whole way through this process. So just be aware of them. If you need help with them, ask for help. Don't complain about them. That's the difference. Cool. Okay, so get your finances out, blah, 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 blah. And then we talk about the weekly review. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the week. So really today it's about, or this week it's about your wheel of life, getting really, really clear what you want, decluttering a whole bunch of stuff, organising your accounts, organising your life, getting a new, most of you got new journals and notebooks and stuff already. Exactly. So too much rushing around there, Denise. Yeah, so what am I reading? I'm just wittering while I'm scrolling through, sorry. That's really not great. And the other thing to look at, so talking about logic and magic and how you can do stuff with less work, is look at the 80-20. That's why I love the weekly review. So I go, what results have I had this week? So I did my weekly review this Sunday, and I was honestly, apart from making money, so health, had a colonoscopy. Have I walked, been to the gym, done much? Apart from a walk with Denise on Saturday morning, I hadn't done anything because I hadn't had the time. And that was unusual for me, but I went, that's an unusual week. It's not normal week for me. So I don't have to worry about my health and fitness just because I didn't have it as a priority, because that week was about selling my program, about having my investigations, about resting. That was it. So the weekly review is really to keep you on track, to make sure that you look at the 80-20. So what activities in your health, in your relationships, in your business, in making money are making the difference. Do them more, stop doing the ones that don't work, and you'll just end up doing less and getting better results. Beautiful. So that kind of is all I want to say for today. So do your Wheel of Life this week. Set really clear intentions for what you want to bring in between now and the middle of December. If you're not clear on your intentions, you can do a ceremony at the end of the month if that feels better for you. If you need any help, ask for help. If stuff comes up, don't worry about it. It's all part of the journey. And we'll have another live stream tomorrow at midday, just to get into a bit more detail about all this stuff, and to just answer any questions that have come up between kind of today and tomorrow, really. So we have quarter of an hour. Any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you want to share, anything you want to ask me about the group, the process, the structure, and how it's going to work. So while you're getting your questions typed up, because I know there's a bit of a delay, it's about setting intentions between now and December and making them real, using intention setting, using logic and magic, using written stuff, reading it every day if that makes sense, journaling around it. It's about doing a weekly review every week and then setting intentions and action plans. So what I'm feeling would be useful is for me to do a live stream every Monday, sort of late morning-ish, to check in with everybody on your action plan, your intentions, your review, and make sure everyone's on track for the week. And then at the end of the week, you can do your weekly review without me, because I'll put the guided ebook in at the end of this week, so you'll have a template for it. And then we can have some kind of problem-solving, teaching, Q&A live stream in the middle of the week, just to get you over any humps that you've got, or to teach you anything that you really need to know. Okay, brilliant. So it's up to you what you want to create in this 2 months. It's up to you how you want to do it, but I want you to do the Wheel of Life, set your intentions, and really step into it and own it. You are capable of doing whatever you want to do if you let go of the limits and you let go of the beliefs that you can't do it or you can't have it. And we're all here for you. We are all here for you. A single product. As far as marketing it depends where you are in your business. No, that's fine. If you are new to your business, we'll be doing one product or program. If you've already got a couple going, just do what you're doing already, as long as it works. If you're feeling like you're offering too much stuff and you're overwhelmed, stop. In the group that I'm in as a participant, this woman's gone, here's my intentions for this program. It's only a 3-month one. And she's got about 6 billion intentions. And I nearly had an anxiety attack just reading it. I'm like, dear love. Focus on one thing, right? So last week I focused on selling this program, selling this program, selling this program. Look how well it worked. Next week, although I'm looking at my events in Bournemouth, they're really kind of getting to know you things and a way to get me into doing my high divers. They're more like a marketing strategy. I'm looking at my high divers next. That's all I'm doing. So it can be really, really simple. Let me just scroll back a little bit. No, that's absolutely fine. So tomorrow we will talk more about products and programs and marketing, if that would help. So yeah, actually, so for tomorrow, we've basically got options. So I can either talk more about products, programs, marketing, and that kind of stuff, the Marketing Maverick stuff, review that, or we can talk more about kind of general intention setting. And that kind of thing. So if you want me to do more marketing businessy stuff, just let me know. Brilliant. Thanks, Miralee. Thanks for joining us. Looking to make connections with a couple of groups of people to do some marketing research. Is it appropriate to ask a question? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Asking for help is absolutely what this group is for. Moaning about stuff going wrong is absolutely not what it's for. So it's not that you can't say if things are challenging. You can, but I want you to ask for a solution and not just complain about it. Does that make sense? So yes, ask. There are experts in here who have been running businesses for years. There is a bookkeeper in this group. There is a graphic designer in this group. There are healers in this group. There are coaches in this group. There are artists in this group. You know, whatever you need to know, somebody will probably know the answer or will know somebody that does. There's some very well-connected people in this group, including myself. Brilliant. Marketing business, marketing products, art studio days. Products. Okay, tomorrow's live stream. This is why I didn't want a really strict schedule before we started the group. Tomorrow's live stream, we will be talking about products and programs. What I will do, which I wasn't going to do this early, is I will add the Maverick Marketing Magic ebook to this group. It's a lot of content. We normally do it in 5 days. I can't do it all in a live stream, but I will go through the overview of it. Some of you have already done it, so dust off the notes you've already got. So Belinda, Annette, Scott, Denise. Denise, I'm seeing you this afternoon for a 2-hour intensive. So anybody that's done the marketing magic already, get your notes out, look at what you already wrote, look at what you've got. If you can only do one product and program between now and Christmas, you will make way more money. But if you've already got a couple going, don't worry about it. So it might be an answer to your question, instead of adding something else in right now to your portfolio of offerings, is just to sell loads more of what you've already got. That is a much simpler option. But if you're guided to creating something new and you at a higher level, and you think that's what the next step is, then it's almost like listen to your guidance. I don't know what's going on in your life and in your body and in your intuition. I can only go. The simpler your business model is, the better. And I'll talk again about my 4 steps and the big kiss marketing and all that. I'll see what I can cover in an hour tomorrow. But we'll go through marketing, products and selling and money and all that kind of stuff tomorrow. Brilliant. You do need to get back on track. So as I said today, somebody commented about not following the rules and answering in one sentence. Most of you kind of managed, but you did do the longest sentences in the world. That did make me laugh, actually. But what I didn't want was for everyone to feel overwhelmed on day one. So there will be a virtual naughty step set up. So if you constantly don't sit on the rules, you'll have a detention from me on the virtual naughty step. I don't even know what that is yet, but it makes me laugh. So anyway. Yeah, perfect. You've downloaded it. Great. So some of you already have the ebook because you've done the program before. Those of you who don't, I will stick it in this group later today. Don't feel overwhelmed by it. It's a lot of information in the ebook. A lot of information in it. You don't have to read it by tomorrow morning. I will guide you through it a little bit and talk a bit about it. But actually, we've got yeah, I don't even know timing-wise how we can cram it in, but anyway, we'll see what we can do. What I do not want you to do is feel overwhelmed, but I do want you to have enough content to go out and create some kind of miracle in the next 6 weeks. So we'll work it out between us. We'll wing it. Ha, yeah. Great. As Emma will tell you, when we used to play imaginary games when we were little, I was often, let's play teacher and student, and my poor little sisters, Emma and her twin sister Sarah, used to be the poor students, and I used to be the pretend teacher at the top, at the front with the blackboard. So this is kind of like my childhood dream come true, especially as my little sister's in the group. It's hilarious. So anyway. Right, anything else? We've got about 5 minutes. Anything, questions or anything I can clear up for today? Nothing about marketing and products and programs. We'll do that tomorrow. Anything about what I've said today, the wheel of life, intention setting, making things real, logic and magic, anything like that. We've got 5 minutes. But any further questions, anything you think, oh God, I really wish I'd asked that, just pop it in the group. I'll be popping into the group on and off today around Denise's session. I'm hoping to get a bit of fresh air. It looks a beautiful day out there again today. Anything specifically on what we've covered today? Or can you go out and do your review and start to create some magic today? You can, yes, you can. Absolutely, Emma. So, good question. Use whatever categories you want. You always need something about business. Like I've got work in there because this is the one that was written for the nurses. So it might have business in it. So you need to have home, money, health, well-being. You can put spirituality in there. Sometimes I put creativity in there to remind myself to do creativity stuff. I had spirituality in there for a long time, but my spirituality needs are pretty much done and dusted. I don't actually need to focus on them because I do them anyway. So yeah, you can have, and sometimes I also do a wheel with just 4 sections because I go pretty much most of it's ticking over. What I need to look at is health, money, social, and whatever else I have in my 4, I can't remember. I think it's business, money. Yeah, business, money, social, and health is all I need to look at sometimes. So I just have 4. So you can absolutely use your own categories or doctor it, whatever makes sense to you. But it's a really good, simple structure to just use something like that for your weekly review. So what you might find is you start off with one, and for example, you know, you're doing your fitness program and you're pretty much on track with that. So, you know, you'll just be evaluating it every week, but you won't necessarily be changing it or implementing anything new. Some of the weekly review is just carrying on doing what I'm doing because it's really working well. Beautiful. If you already got something that's working well, you don't need to reevaluate it, but I would still put it on the wheel, because the first thing, I didn't say this in the thing, the first thing you do when you do your weekly review in the Wheel of Life is give gratitude for where you're at and a big celebration for where you've come to. Even if it's a piddly tiny little step, the more gratitude and the more we celebrate the journey, the more magic comes, the more we enjoy it. Yeah, absolutely. Vitality, energy, anything like that to do with health. Abundance, I'd be very careful about replacing money with abundance, because that might just indicate a slight lack of willingness to own money and talk about money. Now, abundance, because one of my mentors, her group is called Wildly Wealthy, and what she talks about is wealth in all life areas. So wealth and money are not the same thing. Abundance and money are not the same thing. I'm looking forward to them as well. So just be careful of avoiding words you don't like. So abundance sounds better because money sounds what? Now, don't answer this in the thing, but yeah, really own the fact that maybe you don't want to talk about money, because we weren't taught to talk about money when we were younger. So I've had to own that. That's almost why I started running Moneyfestation, with I have to talk about money and be comfortable talking about money and be comfortable talking about amounts of money in order to make more money. And that's been absolutely perfectly true, as you've seen. Brilliant. Oh, Jane, just missed out, love. I think you're an hour out with your timing, but anyway, that's okay. Cool. Okay, so yes, so be aware of avoiding things that feel awkward for ease, because some of the stuff that feels awkward is exactly what you need to confront. Cool. Good. And in confronting that, and in letting go of that fear or that dislike of that word, then you'll make more of it, or you'll be able to embrace it better. Cool. Catching the end live. Beautiful, Jane. Lovely. And anybody, I've shared the photo in the group, actually. I think the other Mavericks group. A really good book for triggering all your emotional shit around money is a book called Overcoming Under-Earning by Barbara Stanner. And I've done a lot of wealth creation stuff, which is about wealth creation. And this book is about codependency. It's about relying on somebody to come and save you, which we've talked about before, which triggered a couple of people in the group. And they went, oh my God, that's what I'm looking for. Expecting banks to bail us out, expecting our family to bail us out, expecting our husbands to support us, expecting, you know, whatever. It talks about whether you really value yourself. It talks about whether you really love yourself. It talks about whether... you know, you're really owning your value. It talks about, all sorts of patterns. It's a really emotionally triggering, difficult book, but my God, if you work through it, you'll get some freedom the other side. It really is awesome. I read it the first time and I was like, oh, I don't really like that book. It's nonsense. And then I just went, that's just my bullshit saying it's nonsense. And I read it again and I went, oh my God, even though I've done a lot of this work, there's a lot to do on it. So I got this... notebook. You know, I love my notebooks. Claire's money manual, and I wrote about money. And the 3 weeks after I did all that writing about money and my fears and what I thought and my value, I made loads of money. So letting go of stuff and really facing the stuff you don't want to face up to is the only way to get through it. Brilliant. Jane, highly recommended for you, my lovely. Because you are all amazing. Really all amazing, and I feel truly blessed to be running this group and getting paid for it, seriously. And I want you to be as joyful with whatever you end up doing, workshops, art, mixture, healing, you know, whatever you end up doing, to feel like in flow, for money to flow with ease, and to have loads of time to have a beautiful life around it. So that's always what I've been teaching. And you know, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that this has kind of come out of nowhere, except it hasn't. It's come out of a lot of work. So I've done more work on me than I've done on my business in the last 18 months. That is the secret. So you do work on yourself, you let go of stuff, you get the intuition, you get it out there, and you'll get brilliant results. Instead of working really, really hard, not having time to look at your stuff, not having time to evaluate your week, and just struggling. That's the old way of business. And I can't be doing with it anymore, because you don't need to. Cool. Good. I've ordered the book. Brilliant. Great. It's a real good one. And it's really uncomfortable reading. I think that's the point. I think she's got another one out called something like Sacred Wealth, which is how spirituality and wealth are connected. And now I've got some money, I think I might go to Amazon in a minute and just order some beautiful books to get me to the next level. So any more, we've got about a minute before I get cut off. Thank you for joining me. It's a true blessing. If you want anything answered, post it in the group. You've got any specific questions about business or stuff, loads of very experienced people in the group. I'm happy for you to ask for solutions to challenges, but no moaning, no lack, no scarcity, no fear posts, please. Thank you very much. This is a group of positivity and possibility. You are welcome. During this live stream, I burned some clutter in my fire. Woohoo! Emma's got the fire on. It must be autumn. Beautiful. Great. Lovely. So yeah, declutter, let go, set your wheel of life, really step into what you really, really, really want, and let's make it real. And let's make the £500 or £600 that you've paid for this the most piddly little amount. And if you want to be a high diver with me, one of my high diving clients, set that as an intention. You know, by Christmas you'll have £5 to invest in me as a coach. Beautiful thing. So yeah, just be really clear what you want, be really clear what you're calling in, write it down in colour, do meditations around it, speak it to the angels, God, the universe, whatever you do. Some of you have processes you already use. Do vision boards, draw stuff, paint stuff, sing stuff, go for a walk around the coast and do gratitude, whatever works for you. There's a multitude of ways to call this stuff in, but you just have to own it first. Brilliant. Yep, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be lunchtime. So midday, slightly later, and we will be talking about packages and programs, and I will put the ebook in the meantime. Do not be overwhelmed by it. You do not have to read it and implement it by tomorrow lunchtime. We've got 6 weeks to implement, well, 8 weeks to implement all this stuff. So go at your own pace. The most useful thing you can do is clear out the clutter, make some space in your diary, stop living in chaos. You know who you are, and look for a new way forward. Okay, see you in the group. Speak to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.